what's up, everybody? Cledus Judd, another episode video podcast of Straight to the Point for Recovery Point. And man, have we got a cut. I know we got one character on the show today. I ain't calling no names yet. But this is going to be a good one right here, and we do hope that you've enjoyed all the ones that have come before these guys. Some absolutely incredible stories. Some will break your heart, but for the most part, they're turning their lives around and making this thing, making recovery work for them, and that's the key thing. Is we always want to pray for the folks like myself and these other guys that come through and girls who share their stories with you. It's not easy. It's not always easy to go back to that dark place when they're trying to move forward, but everybody that comes on the show and does these things are doing it for one reason, and that's hopefully to catch somebody else going down the same paths that we have all been down. So we appreciate all the likes and follows on the page. We're still trying to build that page, the Recovery Point page, to make it bigger. The more people that watch these, the more people we reach, and the more people that may say, you know what, I've had enough. I'm tired, and if my man Larry here, Jackie can do it, you know what? So can I. So with that being said, man, thank y'all both. Jackie, nice to see you, buddy. My man right here, Larry. Some cool conversation. First of all, thank y'all so much for coming on here with us. And Jackie, I'm gonna get to you in a minute because I'm gonna ask you to do something for the people home. Now, I don't think we've done this in any of the 7 or 8 that we've done to maybe, and y'all can do it together, to kind of walk people through the steps. People are out there that, aren't necessarily court appointed that maybe say, okay, I'm tired. I've had enough. It's time to go get some help, no more. And I want you to kind of walk them through the steps. I've been through the program, not actually as a client, but you walk me through. People have walked me through, said, here's what's happening, and I still don't quite. I mean, there's a lot of phases and steps to go through before you finally move across the street and start having some normalcy in life. So we'll get to that in just a second. But my man Larry right here, some of the best conversations I've had at Recovery Point over the last month or two has been out there while this man smoking him a cigarette and hearing his story. And I'm going to let him share it with you guys in hopes that it moves the needle to some degree. So, buddy, thank you so much for coming over here and helping us out. Tell us a little bit first, Larry, about your history, a little bit of the childhood, where you from, what led you to go through the program at Recovery Point.
Well, I'm from Clarksburg, West Virginia. My childhood, I thought it was normal. My dad was an alcoholic. He was definitely one of us. He'll drink a half gallon of Jim Beam every night. Saturday, he'll buy 2 half gallons because he knew the liquor store was closed on Sundays. And
trying to save up, huh?
Oh yeah, it didn't want to go without.
Right.
And I just thought that was normal. I'd spend the night at my buddies' houses, and they would actually sit down at the table and eat meals, and they would kiss them goodnight and tell them they loved them. And I thought that was just all out weird.
Yeah, that wasn't normal in your life, was it?
I don't want to go back there. And it was an abusive household. It was physically, emotionally, mentally abusive. And growing up, I thought that was normal. I mean, I transcended into my relationships as a teenager and into an adult. Ended up catching a felony when I was 13 years old. And
13.
Yeah. It sounds really cool, but I set a cop's house on fire, but it was by accident.
Yeah, they didn't think it was cool.
No, they didn't find it funny, but it sounded really cool telling the story in jail. But
I bet.
I was playing with some lighter fluid, set some pine trees on fire, wooden fence, a garage, a woman's house, and a cop's house. 13 years
Under
old.
the influence at that time?
Absolutely.
Of?
Whiskey and marijuana. Yeah.
At 13, right?
No, I was probably about 12 years old when it happened. I got caught when I was 13. Yeah, we lied
And how
about it
did, leading up to that debacle, why the marijuana? Why was it just because and alcohol was just a victim of childhood, growing up around it, and just felt normal to you to keep the transgression going? Or
well, I mean, looking back, I can see to where I never fit in. I never felt like I was good enough, inadequacy. But when I was growing up, it was more peer pressure. It was just something that was socially acceptable. Everyone was doing it. My mom and my dad. Well, my mom wasn't really doing it. She'd have a couple drinks here and there.
Yeah.
But my dad definitely partook. All my uncles, my aunts, and it was just socially acceptable at the time.
going in when your butt popped at 13 for getting caught doing all that, jail time, juvenile, what they actually do to you at that point?
I ended up catching juvenile life.
Doing how much?
Juvenile life. Yeah, from 13 to I was 21.
So you in the program the whole time. Probably didn't have no room for error at that point, did you?
No, every time. I was introduced to AA before that. I got drunk one time on 190 grain. My dad had the cops brought me home, and ever since then, he was in recovery at the time. He drugged me into the rooms of AA, and I was familiar with the program, but I never quite understood what it was. And when I was locked up, they had meetings in there, and you'd always go just to get out of your cell.
Yeah.
But I never really tried it. Later on in life, when I finally gave it a shot and I understood what it was, I wasted all them years. I tried LSD, shrooms, I always did marijuana and alcohol. But when the pills started coming around, I got into those, and I really didn't get into them. I did a little bit of cocaine here and there. And then when the heroin hit, it was really bad. I got full-blown into heroin and cocaine. I did so much cocaine that I gave myself congestive heart failure. And
how old were you at that time? Do you remember?
It was 2010. I had a massive heart attack. And I guess I was having heart attacks every day for 2 weeks. I thought it was heartburn. And kept eating Tums, kept doing dope. And when the heart attack finally hit and I went to United Hospital Center in Clarksburg, I was in a coma for 19 days. They put 3 stents in me. I wound up with a pacemaker and defibrillator. And I have about 15% of my heart left.
As of right now?
Yes, sir.
Did that, that's an eye-opening, life-changing experience right there.
I come out of the coma and did a shot of dope in the hospital. That's
what I was going to ask you, because when I had my heart surgery in 1999, I was using right up to it. Well, the doctor said right there, the surgeon said, look, you're lucky to be alive. You know, you were born with an extra circuit or whatever, and anytime you put even as much as caffeine in there to jerk that thing around, he said, it's a wonder you're not dead, but you're good to go now. That was the worst thing I could ever heard. Yeah. Is that you're good now. We fixed you, but so I thought, hell, I'm good to go now. Let's make a call. I can really get after it. So you're sitting here saying you got 15% of your heart left. Yeah. When you walked out of there, what'd you say happened next?
Well, my girlfriend, she brought me up. She brought some dope up to the hospital, and she saw me in the ICU. And of course, I'm going through withdrawals. So I was sticking it straight through my PICC line in the hospital.
Oh my God.
I got out. I stayed out for probably about another year and a half, and then I ended up getting this abscess on my arm.
You were telling me about that. What happened there?
I missed a good shot of bad dope.
Yeah.
And it swelled up. It looked like about the size of a goose egg. And it was like that for a couple of days, and it hurt. I was taking antibiotics. I thought it went away, and 4 days later, it was so big I couldn't open or close my arm. They went in, they wanted to take my arm, and I refused. And I said, you're not taking my arm, I'll let it kill me. And they said, well, we'll try to operate on it. When I come to, I can see the bone.
Oh, God.
It stayed open for about 6 months, healing from the inside out.
Man, with all that being said, when was your, that's it? I mean, when you know, a lot of times it's life-changing events, a lot of times it's court appointed, you know, the judge takes control and says, all right, Larry, here's the deal, Hoss. You go do 20 or you can go get some help. I mean,
well, the thing about it was I come to Recovery Point in 2018, and I absolutely didn't want nothing to do with it. I didn't want to drink the Kool-Aid. I didn't want to hear the message. Right. I didn't want to follow the program. I was there to please my probation officer, get through, get out, continue to get high. And something about it stuck.
What?
I think it was.
I want you to share that at home, because like you said, man, Ray told me one time, I asked Ray, who's the head cheese over there, I said, man, what about the guys that come in here that are court appointed, that don't know, like you were saying, don't no more want to be here than a man in the moon, could care less about this. He said, I could care less how they get here. I don't care if their mama brings them, the judge brings them, the cops drop them off. If I can get them here, I got a shot at it. Yeah. You know, I got a shot that maybe, like you said, something finally clicks where you go, okay, I'm good to go at this point. So what happened from there?
To be honest, it was my brothers in the program. I come in, I didn't have a pot to pee in, nothing to offer them. And I thought it was weird. Everyone saying, "Man, I love you. Give me a hug." I was like, "You love me? You don't even know
You don't
me.
even know me. How you
You
gonna
know what I
love
mean?
me?
Yeah, get off me. I don't have nothing for you to steal. I don't have nothing for you to take."
Right.
And it wasn't about that. It was true love. It was companionship, friendship. I never had that before. Even growing up as a child, my parents always had ulterior motives. Later on, when I went back to prison after that in 2018, prison still didn't break me. I got out. I got out March 11th, 2020. COVID hit, and I was quarantined in my house. And I was just isolated. So right back off the wagon I went.
Did you? And this is 2018?
No, this is 2020, March 11th, 2020.
Oh,
I done went back to
few.
prison after I left Recovery Point, didn't complete the program. And I stayed on the table the whole time. Wasn't being very good the whole time I was there. And went back to prison, got out, relapsed, and got to the point I called my PO. I said, "Listen, I had a girlfriend at home. I had an apartment full of stuff, and I felt completely alone. I felt like a stranger in someone else's house with someone else's woman. It's like I didn't know her. I had no friends. I had nobody to turn to, and it was the loneliest place I've ever been in my life. Prison didn't even do that to me."
Right.
And the only thing I can remember thinking back was the good times I had at Recovery Point. I mean, I've had a blast. I've had some bad times. I wanted to leave 100 times. But,
sure. Ain't nobody over there that ain't wanting to leave.
Yeah, if you don't want to leave that place, there's something wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
But the love I had there, the friendship I had there, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, that's what brought me back. Yeah.
And you completed the program?
This time I did, just a hair under 11 months between signing extension and office. Yes.
How you feel right now?
I feel great.
You know, one word that keeps resonating out of all these that we've done, and probably 8 or 9 by the time you guys see this one, and it's a 4-letter word, but man, is it powerful. And most men have more of a problem with it than most women do. And that word is love. You know, big bulky men like ourselves ain't always real good at hugging somebody's neck going, "Look here, I love you."
Yeah.
But when somebody does and they have nothing to gain from it, like you said, "Look, you ain't got nothing to offer these people. Why you don't love me? You don't know my history. You don't know what I've been through." But genuinely, they care because they in the same boat we all in, just trying to make it. And when somebody, there's a lot of power in the word love, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Change your life.
Yeah.
Change your life. Now you staff. Now you work. Now you got a job.
Yeah.
Pretty good feeling.
Yeah. I actually gave my disability up so I could start working and try to get my child support paid
How many
off.
people do that nowadays? So kudos to that. How many kids you got?
I have one. She's 20.
20. Good relationship?
Absolutely not. She can't stand me, and I can't blame her.
No.
I did most of her life either in prison or out there in the madness. So
when I was talking to the girls a few weeks ago, same situation, you know, took it upon themselves, knew the damage that they had caused, as we all do. But I've always said, and it doesn't always happen, and then we're going to jump over here and talk to Jackie, but kids are usually more forgiving than adults are. That they have big hearts. Sometimes they're jaded and hard because of our actions, of what we do to cause that pain and inflict that pain, because they're sitting there thinking, "It's my dad, he give a damn less about me," which is not the case. We just at some point gave a little bit more damn about the dope than we did about the child. But my prayer will be, as anybody out there watching, will be that kid of yours, that heart softens and sees the recovery that her dad's done. I like to talk to her because I sure could tell her some good things about her dad that I've seen for sure.
Well, one thing I've come to grips with and realize is that she absolutely has the right
Sure.
to hate me right now. I've absolutely did all this to myself, to her. She did nothing wrong. It was all me. So it's just one of my men's that got to live.
Yeah, absolutely. My dad, was the same way. He never had nothing to do with me, no drugs or anything, but alcohol was good God. I could have never been an alcoholic because there wasn't nothing left around me to get to, But right before he passed away, he said, "Hey, you don't owe me nothing. All this self-induced, I'm a suck ass dad, excuse my language." But he said, "I'm gonna ask you a favor." And I said, "Well, ask away." And he said, "I appreciate if you forgive me." And it was the most poignant moment I had ever been. And my dad died 10 years ago, so I was probably 47, 48 years old. And it took me about 3 seconds to say, "Forgive it." And it was one of the best moments of my life because, one, he asked for the genuine forgiveness, not all doped up, drunk, "I love you," none of that stuff. And it was empowering for me to say, "Forgiven." And the last 6 months of his life, I got to spend with him. It was one of the best 6 months. So I pray that that can happen to you as well. And it will. You just keep on your journey. You do, and you do what's right. And I'll tell you one more thing about this dude right here. He's one of the most talented artists that I've ever seen. I mean, I've saw his work. I got him working on something for me right now that I can't wait to see. And man, that's a God's gift right there. And I hope you still love doing the art and all that kind of stuff, drawing.
When I can find time for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a job now. You got to work.
Yeah,
Don't you?
yeah.
I've been trying to get him to do me a logo for a week. I'm fixing to fire it. I'll tell you right now. Fix to let him go if I don't get it the next week. But man, what a great story. I'm proud of you, man. You're a great conversationalist. I enjoy the conversation. You bring me a lot of laughter. I ain't gonna tell you it's sad because you don't see that side of it. But man, let me jump over here to my man Jackie. Jackie, I want you. How long have you been with the program? At the program, when did you go through the program at Recovery Point?
When I first came to Recovery Point, it was 2015. I was court ordered, right? Came in, I wasn't done. The state of West Virginia said I had a problem. I didn't see it,
You argue with them?
No, I was on bond. I got discharged for getting high. Then I came back. They let me come back. Got discharged again for forging my sheets. And then the judge was like, "Well, you got a month or whatever to get in there." And
or else?
Yeah. So I went and went through the motions, right? Was trying to beat the paper. And did, right? Went there, went through the program. It took me like 16 months to complete it the first time. It was crazy because I was like Larry was saying, I couldn't get right, I was always getting in trouble. I was always doing things to slow my program down. I wasn't really working a program. I got out and was good for a little while, probably about 5 months or so, and then they took the probation off of me, and the day they took the probation off of me, I didn't have that accountability no more, right? So I was
on your own at that point, huh?
Yeah, so I started using heroin and meth. And came back in July. I actually had talked to my wife. We made an amends that January of last year, and I was still out in the madness, but we were separated for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was out doing my own thing, causing havoc, and made an amends to her, and I called her about 2 weeks before I caught charges this time, right? I was telling her that I couldn't live like it no more. I'm not one that really reaches out for help, And when I do, like I don't expect somebody to stop what they're doing, stop living their life, you know, to help me out. She was in Virginia Beach, and she's like, "Well, I can pick you up on the way back and take you back to recovery point." And I was like, "Oh no, I'll be all right." And 2 weeks later, I caught the charges I'm facing now. That was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself.
Right.
I remember doing a shot of dope and looking up like, God, please let this one be my last one, you know. And the sheriff showed up, you know. If it wouldn't have been for God doing that, I wouldn't be here today. Like I shouldn't be here. So I'm super blessed every day that I wake up, you know, being given more chances than I deserved, I think.
I don't want you to get mad at me, but you said you shouldn't be here. Yeah, you should.
Well, I mean, God's got a reason for me being here.
Absolutely.
I just
don't forget that. I know it's easy to think that in the middle of the madness, of course, you know, but there's a reason.
I'm just saying, like, He kept me alive for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but I know this, that getting a job at Recovery Point, doing what we do, I've had little petty jobs, right? And it was a job, like you woke up and you regret, like you didn't want to go to work, but you went anyways.
Right.
And I actually enjoy what I do today, right? Getting to help people, right? Watching them come in hopeless and then watching that change happen, you know, and them having a new outlook on life by the time they leave a program. Like that's what it's all about.
It's amazing as people, as broken souls that we all are, you know, the way I try and mend my soul is by helping others, you know, and in return, it does. I was telling Walt and them just a minute ago, man, I never dreamed when I've always had a passion and I don't know what the exact word is, for the afflicted and the addicted, you know, because nobody ever really gave up on me. I've always said, you know, a story is not a story unless the story's told, you know, and I've always wanted to use my story so people might look at me one day and go, if that idiot can do it, maybe I can. Somebody asked me when we were doing a live video when I was up there cutting hair a few weeks ago, you know, up top, they're like, why are you over here? What are you doing this for? You know, you'd be out doing a show out with Jelly Roll, you know, touring or doing the highfalutin thing. And I tell you exactly why. Because people like you, people like Walt, people like Jeremy, and the other 85 or 90 people that I've got to meet in the last month. It is one of the most overpowering, empowering places that I've ever been in. To hear your story, you know, to hear you say at one time in your life, I didn't deserve to be here, to now, you know, you got a purpose. Man, I want you to finish up by telling that guy out there that may be watching this, that's sitting on his phone checking this out and wondering, thinking, man, I can't take that first step. I can't walk through them doors. Ain't no way. I'd be scared to death. I'd just rather lay out here and die in a gutter, die in the alley, than to walk through them doors. But tell them what they could expect if they will take that first step. And we'll be waiting on them with open arms when they do come in. If you can get through Jeremy there at the front desk, you know, he's pretty tough.
Well, one thing they can expect is people genuinely caring about them. Right, if they're feeling alone, right, or they want to die, they can go to a place where they're going to feel love, like genuine love, right? People will give a shirt off their backs to help the next person. You can expect that when somebody says they care about them, they actually care about them, right? They're not asking for things in return, right? They're doing it because they want what's best for you. You know, they want you to succeed. They want you to change your life and be a better person. So there's hope out there. I was a thief. That's all I was like I was a thief, and now I get to give back. And that's like one of the best feelings there is. You know.
Do you find doing that, it helps with your sobriety as well?
Oh, absolutely.
It, it,
It does, man. Watching people come in with nothing,
and leave with something.
and people give the shirts off their back to help them out. You see people come in from jail in their orange jumpsuits, right? And they literally give the shirts off their back to help them, give them some clothes. I've seen people, give them shoes, and they're not asking for anything.
Oh no, I get
You
it.
know what I mean? So they're doing it. They're doing it out of the kindness of their heart because we know what it's like to have nothing.
And
It's like one place that I've been in my life where there's genuine love. I mean, like I grew up in a good household. Like my parents were great, but I never, from other people, I never felt it. And it's great getting to see that.
Absolutely. I walked in, and it's probably come off sounding funny, but I walked in yesterday, come over and see Joe for a minute, and one of the residents had came out of the kitchen, and he done fixed him a big old bowl of chocolate cake, whatever we had yesterday, for dessert. And it was a big Tupperware bowl. He had him about a half pound of cake on top of that bad boy, and had poured milk in with it. I ain't really ever saw that, and I'm like, man, what in the is that concoction? And he told me, and I said, I ain't never saw it ate that way. And he said, well, I said, I'm gonna go back here and get me some. He said, this is the last piece, but here, you can have mine. Now see, that sounds minute. It sounds very minute. That man didn't more have to give me that big half a pound of cake than nothing in the world. But he didn't even second guess it. It was just like second nature to give. I said, I'm gonna go get me some. He said, they ain't no more, but you can have mine. And during that same conversation, talking to Joe, I was saying, hey man, one night I want to come over and spend the night with the guys. I want to come over and crash up in a bunk. I want to tell stories. I want to laugh. I want to hear their stories. And I said, but I know there's not, many beds right now. And that same dude said, you can have mine. I'll sleep in the floor. Are you kidding me? Really? He wasn't saying that because of who I am or what I am. He was saying that for the love of his brother. Just basically said, hey, we ain't got no beds right now. You want to come spend the night? I'll jump in the floor. You can have my bed. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, man, is you get that from that environment. Now, the people that sit at home and have never been exposed to that environment don't understand that. I've got to witness it firsthand to see the hugs, the handshakes, the I love yous, and I can see, man, I hear accountability preached over there a lot. Just about every day I'm over there, the word accountability comes up, more than ever. And man, you're held accountable. You're held accountable. We all are. Can you imagine the damage? Can you imagine the damage that any 3 of us, 5 of us, 10 of us would do if we let them people down? If they come in and said, man, where's Jamie at today? He didn't make it. He didn't make it. And man, and that's really being held high in accountability when you got that much responsibility on your shoulders. But I think it's a responsibility that I can tell both of you enjoy, correct?
Yeah.
You like having that on your shoulders?
Yeah.
I can tell.
For me, I think it come down to in his last days out there, I can remember hearing my federal judge saying that I was a danger to myself and a danger to society. And it dawned on me that I'm going to die as a liability. I want to be a contribution today.
Say that one more time.
That I was going to die as a liability, but I want to go out as a contribution today. I want to be remembered for the good things that I did.
I don't know. Sure you never thought about preaching? we may have to get you behind the pulpit. I did a video the other morning after I heard you say, and you can correct me because I'm probably not going to say it the right way, but you said if you want to see a change, you got to be part of the change. What was that say? Is that
if you want to see change, you don't like the way the things are going, try to become the change you want to see. The change starts in us and our thoughts and our actions.
When you said that, I went straight to the car, closed the door, and did a video because it moved me. And I'm gonna say this before we end. Everybody that lives and breathes has a chance to contribute to society. You know, every day God gives us that breath, that morning wake up call. We got a chance to contribute. Now that judge may have said you were a detriment to society. My man, you are far from a detriment. You are definitely not a detriment to society, and you do contribute. You contribute to me because I enjoy my conversations with you. You contribute in a lot more ways than you can imagine, and will continue to do so with the time that God's got you left. And we'll none of us know that, you know. So I just jump on the horse every day and ride it until he knocks me off. You're a good dude.
That's all we can do.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You, my man, you're a man of probably few words more than something you ain't ever gonna out talk him. You know. Walt was up earlier. You ain't gonna out talk Walt. They got stories for days. But I see that emotion in your voice. I see that heart you got over there on that side, and you do great things for them people in that building. And you are held accountable at a high level. And I think that gives us all a reason to want to continue our sobriety. We just don't want to let nobody down. Hell, we don't want to let ourselves down. You know, sometimes you take them other people out of the equation, but man, imagine laying in that bed one more night, jacked up, going, man, what in the God's name have I done? But that ain't gonna happen. Too many people holding you accountable now. You're a good dude. Thank you so much. Absolutely. We're gonna get out of here. Inspiring stories. Heartbreak. If you want to take it that way. For me, they inspire me. They inspire me to do better. They inspire me to continue on my path to be a better person, a better human being, a better dad, and a contributor. As my man said, you know, we all want to contribute. None of us want to be a detriment anymore. So get help. If you're out there, get help somewhere, whether it's Recovery Point. Don't be shy. Ask for help. Everybody continue to share these pages. The more people that see these stories from these great people that are willing to share them with you, the more people that we can touch and the more people that we make and get off the street and give them hope, just like these at one time two hopeless men thought. Now look at them. They sitting here running the show over there at that program. You can do it too. See you next week on Straight to the Point for Recovery Point, West Virginia. Y'all have a great day. See you.